Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of the best of 30 days of sketches. And today's layout is using the embellishments I did yesterday. And we are using this sketch from Susanna Lee. I thought all those circles would be perfect for some photos from the aquarium. So I have this leftover sheet of Felicity Jane paper, and I am just spraying it with a little bit of mixed media. I'm using some Dylusions in London Blue and some vibrant turquoise, and then I'm also using some white, some Nouveau Sparkle Spray in Marine Mist, and some white, white linen Dylusions. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry. There are the three pieces that I created yesterday. And then I'm using my punch to go ahead and punch out the photos. But my punch is having a really hard time going through the photos. And I don't know if that's just because it's photos or if my punch needs some sharpening or what. But I kind of do the best I can, trim it off, stick it back in there. Align it, and then kind of turn the punch around, because it's really only the edge, the outermost edge of the punch that's having difficulty. So yeah, I do that 3 times, struggling with it. And then I do have, that was a 2-inch circle punch, and then I have a 2.5-inch scallop punch that I punched these black scallop circles on. And so it would have been fine if I had pulled out my dies over to the side there, but I didn't have them out at the time. And I thought, since I had already cut the first one, I was just going to finish the other ones. I didn't want them to be slightly different or whatever. So that was my thinking and why I didn't go to the dies. And also sometimes when you run things through the die machine, sometimes the texture from all of the cutting on the plates can transfer over to the photos, and so I didn't want that to happen, and I really wasn't 100% sure what to do about that. I'm thinking if I would have put it in some computer paper around the photo, I probably wouldn't have had a problem. So anyway, I pull out my 1.5-inch punch, my 2.5-inch punch, my 1-inch, the orange punch on the right hand side there is a 1-inch punch. And as you can see here, I'm having trouble again punching vellum out of this larger sized punch. It's okay. Or actually, that was the same punch. So maybe it's just the punch that's having trouble. Maybe I need to sharpen it. And I think you can do that by putting some aluminum foil in it and punching it multiple times on aluminum foil. So I've heard that is a good way to do that. I haven't actually tried it on this punch, so maybe I'll do that and see what happens. Anyway, then I decided I'm just going to go with my dies, because I have that in a different size than I have in the punches. Like I don't have the punch that does the size of circle that I'm currently cutting. So I thought I'll go ahead and do that and see how that comes out. So I'm liking the way that it's looking so far. I am using the 2 different colors of vellum, and those are the same colors of vellum that is on that piece with the waves. I do realize it looks like a gray, but it's not. It's really like a teal color. It's just a very muted tone of the teal. So I'm also going to pull out some a smaller die or a smaller punch to get some smaller circles. Actually, I don't think I used the smaller punch. I end up using some brads and some buttons, and I apologize that you won't see me actually put the brads and the buttons on. Somehow I did not hit the record button, or I double clicked it and turned it on and off. I'm not really sure what happened. I am still having a hard time getting used to the new case that I have on there. Well, it's a somewhat new case. It's not brand new, but I am having less trouble than I used to have, so that's a good plus. But you will see in the still shots that there are some brads and some buttons. So while I go ahead and finish running these dies through, I will remind you this is a hop that's going on. There is a group, a link down below to a playlist that will play all of the videos that are in this hop, if that is of interest to you. I will also include links to the products that I'm using if they are still available. And I know that I don't have a link to the circle dies that I'm using, but I will put a link to circle dies that are very similar in size for you, because the ones that I have are discontinued. So there's that little 1-inch punch, and that one was actually having some trouble as well. And I think that is just because it's vellum. Vellum is a kind of an interesting material where it doesn't, it will cut, but then like the very last little bit of it doesn't like to cut. So I don't know if it's just me or what, but yeah, I had a lot of fun trying to do those. I did, when I was first making the layout, I thought there was just a circle around it because I didn't have the sketch in front of me. And then I realized that some of them go off the page, and I like that a lot better. So I was really pleased with that. And so I did cut a few that have, that are semicircles so that I can get that look and make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to play around with moving these things around. I also kind of struggle with where to put the adhesive for the vellum, because sometimes the adhesive shows through, and I don't have any vellum adhesive because I don't use it that often. And usually it's really easy to like hide it. You can hide it underneath, you know, one of the overlapping bubbles. But in this case, I had a bunch of vellum bubbles that didn't have anything overlapping. So I did the best I could, and I'm happy with the way it looks. It's not super, like, it's not super obvious, but I might have to look into getting some vellum adhesive if I'm going to do this much more. So the piece of vellum that has the waves on it, the waves hid the adhesive very well. So even something as simple as that was very helpful. So I'm just kind of playing with the placement, trying to get a circular feel to the overall layout, not just the circles, but have them go in a circle and leave some empty space in the middle. And I think I have more circles on my layout than she has on hers, and that could be why there's a little bit of crowding in the middle. I know I definitely have more larger circles than she has, but it's okay. I do like the end result, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. In these photos, there's a couple really big fish that are swimming by, and it's just the back of Noah's head looking at the fish, and him and his mom looking at the fish. So I just am going to title this big fish and just write down a little note about how he really enjoys. That's one of his favorite things to look at, is the really big fish. And the first time we went with him to the aquarium, he kept saying, "They're so big and so powerful." These photos are actually from the second time he went, but I definitely need to document the some of the first photos and that little story as well. So the circles that have the mixed media on them are made out of that paper that I created at the beginning with the Dylusions spray and the Marine Mist Nouveau sparkle spray. So in case you're wondering where those came from, that's where they came from. I didn't do a very good job of showing you that or explaining that on the camera, but that is where they came from. And I'm really happy with the way they came out, because all that mixed media really adds a lot of interest to it. So if you are someone who is not comfortable with doing mixed media and you're not really sure how it's supposed to come out, this is a great way to like get started. Spray a little bit of paper and use it on a shape, whether it's a circle, a hexagon, a square to make a grid or something like that. It's a great way to do it because it doesn't really matter the pattern that you make on the paper. It's just, you're just getting that awesome texture from the multiple colors and the different kinds of shimmer that you might be using. So it's a very safe way to play with your mixed media. Okay, so I pulled out these stickers. I am going to call this Big Fish, and I don't have an S, so I'm going to use an ampersand, and I am going to make that into an S by doing a little bit of surgery here on the ampersand, and it looks fine when it's all done. It's normally I would use an 8, but there are no numbers in this particular set, And so I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out, since that's what I had to use. And then I'm using these slightly larger thickers to create the word big, and I'm pretty happy with the way that turned out. I am going to stamp the date on it just above where it has the word big. And this stamp also has a phrase at the beginning, but I didn't want the phrase, so I just stuck a piece of paper under it so I didn't get any residue from the ink onto my layout where the phrase was on that stamp. And then I'm just going to finish it off using my Muji pen to just write the little note about how much he loves to look at the really big fish and the sharks. Those are his two favorite things, at least at this point in time. The close-ups are coming up in just a second here, so thank you for watching. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below. Don't forget there's a link to the Facebook group for 30 Days of Sketches and to the playlist. There's also a link to my own Facebook group if you are interested in joining me over there. It's not super busy right now, but I do have some plans for it in the future, so I would love to have you join me. And don't forget to check out everyone else who is playing along. If you have questions or comments, leave them down below. And don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. I will see you guys again tomorrow with another video. And I can't remember if it's an embellishment. I think it's an embellishment video. But come back and check it out tomorrow. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.